So you guys all taking different things? Are you taking the same thing?
A lot of stuff we take together because we want to apply it.
Yeah.
It's 12:30. I'd like to get started.
Team!
Great!
Thank you. Worked.
Thank you. I want to keep everybody on schedule, make sure we're all out here. Apparently a lot of you are going to 1:30 meetings after this, so I'd like to get started. I'm Eric Cunningham, I'm Director of Client Management for Zip, and I'm going to take you through a quick overview, and you'll think it's quick by the time we're done, I suspect, of the Zap platform. When we're finished, or nearing the end, Debbie Williams, our National Training Manager, will come in and join us.
Can you speak a little louder, please?
Yeah, it's hard to hear you back here.
Okay, is that better?
Yeah.
All right. The first time I've had a request to speak louder, people tell me to be quiet. So, Debbie Williams, our National Training Manager, will join us at the end to help to questions and answers. So, without any further ado, let's talk about Zap. Before I get into what the product actually is, I think it's useful to give you a little background on how we got where we are today. Zap is a program that was developed internally at Zip, where we were a national brokerage. We did this strictly and solely for our own purposes. It was to give us an unfair competitive advantage in the marketplace. We looked out at what was available 15 years ago in the software market for real estate agents, and there just wasn't anything that we thought worked. And we had the benefit of being in the San Francisco Bay Area with a wealth of programming talent around. So we went and got some of those people and started developing our own software. That evolved into the Zap that we have today. And as it says on the screen, it's technology built for brokers, and it was built by brokers. I want to give you a quick analogy. Who knows what Unix is? Who's heard of Unix? Awesome, lots of hands. So Unix is the most prolific, most successful operating system in history. It came out in 1969 from AT&T Bell Labs. The significance of that is it spread throughout the world on lots of different platforms because it was software that was written by programmers for programmers. It filled their need. It did exactly what they wanted it to do. They weren't dependent upon a marketing department with a whiteboard to sketch out what they thought would be a good idea. It was built to solve our particular needs. And the other analogy that I want to draw is Unix spread because it was cross-platform. It was the world's first real portable operating system. It was something that could run on lots of different kinds of computers. We built Zap with that same thought in mind. It runs on Macs, it runs on PCs, iOS, Apple, iPhones, Android, tablets, whatever. It's optimized to run on any platform that you choose, any platform that your customer chooses. So with those thoughts in mind, let's take a look. The landscape today is probably not what we all want it to be. And what I mean by that is customers aren't where we want them to be. Customers spend way too much time on the portals. And when I say portals, it's kind of a euphemism for Zillow and Trulia, right? And maybe a couple of others. They don't do business the way that we'd like them to do. And if our customers are out on the portals, where aren't they? They're not on our brokerage websites where we want them to be. We don't have control over them. We can't lead them, we can't guide them, and we can't find out what they're really up to. Far better to be on our platform where we can see we can control what they're seeing, but we can also see what they're doing. And I'll show you how Zap helps you with that. In order to get the customer to come to your website and stay on your website, though, you have to have a very competitive platform. You have to have something that's visually appealing, engaging, useful, accurate, timely. That's an advantage that we all have with MLS IDX, right? The portals don't even attempt to be accurate, right? So how many people have customers that call them and say, is this house available? I saw it on Zillow. Yeah, right. And it hasn't been listed for 3 months, maybe it hasn't been listed ever. And so you have a disappointed customer. I'm not taking a slap at the portals. They did their job. They did what they perceived their job to be, which is they connected a client to an agent. Now, you may have an unhappy client, but at least you have contact and you have an opportunity. That isn't the way that we operate. That isn't what Zap is all about. And I doubt that it's what you want for your customers either. We provide as fast as whatever your MLS or MLSs are capable of delivering. Sometimes it's once an hour, sometimes it's every 15 minutes. We take it and provide it back out to you as fast as the MLS can give it to us. The second 2 points up on the board to me are very, very similar concepts. And this is really kind of what we're trying to address. The reason that Realogy bought us was to take care of the needs of the agents and brokers in today's ever-changing technological landscape. So none of us in this room are likely, or should have to be at least, systems integrators. Yet, with customers being as fickle as they are, and constantly seeing software changing, evolving, new opportunities coming out in the market every day, what do you do as an agent to best present yourself to your clients? What do you do as a broker to run your business? You're put in a position of having to be a systems integrator. It's very time consuming, and often it's difficult to the point of being impossible. You may have the best lead generation software, the best transaction management software, the best email marketing software, but how do you put them all together? And what happens when something changes? It's a real problem. That's where we come in. That is and should be our problem and not yours. Hopefully we'll see if we address a lot of those issues for you. So on this screen, the first thing that's going to jump out at you is that big number with a circle around it. You've been here for a day or two now, and I'm sure you've seen that out up at the booths or in some of the presentations. That's the Zap score. And it's really kind of the heart of the whole system. It's what agents will learn to rely on to drive their daily activities. We have a wealth of information, over 15 years of accumulated real estate transactions, and a ton of experience with developing algorithms to boil all of our observed consumer behavior down into a simple, easy to understand, quick to glance at and know what it means number that tells you what the likelihood of somebody transacting in a certain period of time is. So it's actually kind of clever. The circle is filled in, it changes colors, green is the best, 91 is a relatively high score, the scale is 0 to 99. So however your mind works, as you look at that, you would perceive that when you're rushing through your day and you glance down at your phone, you would perceive that was a pretty high score, and in fact it is, and it's something that deserves your immediate attention. One of the reasons that agents aren't successful, especially new agents, they don't know what to do, right? They passed their tests, they got their license, and they know the real estate law maybe, but what do? What's the next thing that they should do in the day, especially if their day changes around? Everybody's day changes around. You can block time all day long, but the reality is, hey, your day's going to change whether you like it or not. The closing attorney's going to move a closing time. The customer's going to want to see the house at a different time. Whatever the problem is, your day is going to be shifting. And to make the best use of your time, how do you keep track of what you should next best do? You can look at that Zap score on your phone, your tablet, your desktop, your laptop. It's all reading from the same database, and you can see exactly what the state of all of your clients are at any point in time, and make the determination for yourself what the best thing to do is. In fact, Zap, as you'll see in a few minutes, Zap will actually help you perform those tasks. So Zap is comprised of 3 primary pieces. You've got a consumer piece, an agent piece, and a broker piece. And we'll quickly take a look at all of those. That's kind of a busy slide, but we'll step through it a piece at a time. So the first thing you need, I said it's a competitive marketplace out there. It's enormously competitive. A typical consumer will visit at least 7 websites when they're looking for a house, before they settle on one. If you want to be the one that they settle on, you have to have a compelling reason. They have to have a compelling reason to stay with you. They're fickle. They don't have any loyalty whatsoever when they're out on the internet looking for a house. 7 is the average. You want to hit them as fast as you can with the best possible solution. Customers want to work the way that they want to work, when they want to work, and your website has to be ready for that and be a fully integrated solution. As well, it needs to be mobily optimized. One of the things that we've seen hurt real estate brokerages more than possibly anything else is the websites that they have, however well developed they were, aren't really mobile optimized. And what I mean by that is a customer has to be able to access your website just as easily from a handheld or a tablet as they can from a desktop. If it doesn't render correctly, it won't look exactly the same. It can as a smaller screen. But if it doesn't render correctly, if it doesn't provide them the same information, if it isn't intuitive, if it isn't easy, they're going to move on. And statistics show they won't come back. As well, you need a mobile application that's tied in, that works just as easily, just as well. Maybe not identically, but it needs to be intuitive, it needs to have the same branding, the same IDX capabilities, everything that they're looking for. The customer doesn't care about your technological problems. They care about accomplishing their objective, which is finding a house. So, we provide iOS and Android capability for both smartphones and tablets. It all ties back into the Zap ecosystem. On the agent side, turns out agents' needs are very similar to consumers. They need, though, a world-class CRM. They need something where they have instantaneous access to all of their business, all of their clients, all of their transactions, everything that's going on in their world. If they don't, they won't use the system. So we provide a world-class CRM, and that CRM has to also be mobile optimized, just like the website. So, in fact, it is the iOS and Android versions work on smartphones and tablets. You can accomplish virtually anything you can do on your desktop with the mobile application or with a mobile device on the website. And then lastly, agents have to have a world-class website of their own, tied into the brokerage, branded, full IDX capability. It can't slow down, it can't have any kind of glitches in it. It's your personal digital calling card, and if there's a problem with it, the customer moves on, and again, they typically don't come back. On the broker side, brokers need management tools. In the marketplace today, you very seldom find an end-to-end management oversight tool for a brokerage. How many times have you wondered, if you pass out, if you're a broker, you pass out 500 leads to 50 agents, whatever the case may be. How easy is it for you to track each one of those leads from its very earliest inception all the way through to closing? It's extremely difficult to do that. Zap makes it easy. You can do it on any platform that you choose, and I'll show you some screenshots later of exactly the kind of information you'll be able to get. We also have full lead router integration and full Crest integration. So for most of you, we'll make life a whole lot easier and avoid any kind of double entry. Okay, how does Zap work? So we say that there are 4 primary tenets of Zap. Zap captivates. Slide says it captivates buyers and sellers, but the fact of the matter is, and I keep stressing this, it has to also captivate agents. If agents aren't interested, if they don't perceive value, if they don't find that this is something that makes it easier for them, if it doesn't drive their business, they're not going to use it. If they don't use it, the whole system collapses under its own weight. So we make this something special for the agents as well. Zap predicts, that's the Zap score. Zap will tell you the best use of your time at any given point in time and help you accomplish your objectives. Zap informs. One of the things that's, how many times have you heard the old buyers are liars? You spend your time listening to somebody who isn't telling you anything other than what they want you to hear. They tell you that they're looking in a certain neighborhood for a $300,000 house, when in fact, Zap is watching what they're doing, and it's telling you that they're actually looking for a $150,000 house in another part of town. So how useful is that kind of information? From an agent standpoint, it's extremely useful. You'll get to the closing table a whole lot faster, or at the very least, you won't waste a lot of time, effort, and money. And then finally, Zap is a complete integrated solution. It ties the entire brokerage together. It takes you from the lead inception all the way through to the close, and it ties the consumer to the agent and the agent to the broker and gives the broker visibility throughout the entire process. Let's take a look at each one of these. So Zap Captivates. This is one of its best capabilities. It will show, I'm sorry, there we go. It will show, and I'm a licensed agent too, so agent marketing is really important to me as well. It will constantly promote an agent to the consumer. We tie a consumer directly to an agent, and it's an inextricable bond. It's something that a broker can undo, but generally speaking, once an agent has a customer, that customer is theirs. And we market that agent in the most effective and productive way possible on an ongoing basis. That's called the agent block in Zap. It shows up in every search result and every home detail listing page. Those are the two most heavily trafficked pages on the entire website. So what you see there is, first you've got the picture, you've got the star satisfaction rating. We'll talk about ratings and reviews. They're extremely important in online marketing. As you probably know, Yelp has taught us all that we want to know what consumers think about people before we deal with them. It's easy to contact the agent. We show their latest top review that somebody wrote. There they are, the homes that they've shown recently and the homes that they've sold recently. So the customer immediately starts to perceive this person as knowledgeable, reliable, somebody that they want to do business with. And we push this over and over again throughout the entire cycle of the transaction. We also have automated email marketing to consumers. It's easy for the customer to go out on the website and customize their experience. One of the things that we provide is the ability, and other software does this as well, but I want you to know that we do it also. But a customer can say, I want to know anytime a house comes on the market that meets the following criteria, right? And it will instantly, when your MLS reports something, it'll instantly notify the customer that that house has come onto the market. Customers say that that is the most, if you heard Lanny talk earlier, customers say that's the most valuable information that they can get from a real estate agent, is information that helps them find homes that meet their criteria in a very timely fashion. The email that comes out is there on the right. That's a sample of exactly what a customer would see, and again, marketing the agent with information about a house that matches their criteria, something that they want to see, something that's very timely and valuable to them. On the left side there, this is a sample screenshot of what a customer would see if they're using the mobile app and looking at a detail page for a home. But once again, we're pushing the agent and making it easy for the customer to reach out to that agent. All right, let's talk a little bit about the Zap score itself. So I said that a user interface is extremely important, and it has to be intuitive. It has to be easy to use. Here's another good example of how we try to make it intuitive. If you see something on the screen, whatever the application is, and you want to learn more about it, what do you instinctively do? So if you click on the Zap score, wherever it is, it pops up this little handy dandy English language, plain, easy to understand box, and tells you, the agent or the broker, it tells you exactly why that score is what it is. We don't give you numbers or anything or algorithms. We tell you in plain English exactly why that score is high or as low as it is. If you know anything at all about the client, you probably would, you know immediately what was going on. And you can drill down further, but at the click of a button, you can see exactly what's going on. The Zap score is extremely reliable. And it's easy for me to say that, but let me put a little bit of data behind that for you. The median score for closed transactions that Zap reports is a 98 on a scale of 0 to 99. And so you may be thinking, well, if it's closed, why wouldn't it be a 99? At the time that it closes, it is a 99. It's a 98 45 days in advance on average. That's how good the algorithm is at predicting consumer behavior. It's up to 98 on average, 45 days out. That's why it's such a valuable tool for a real estate agent who has a ever-changing day. They don't know what the best use of their time is, but Zap can help them. Zap also takes care of the part of the business that you don't have time for. So you've got a big sphere of influence, and on average, most agents will have about 75% of their platform that they don't really need to be hands-on with at any given point in time. Zap watches those customers. It looks for changes in consumer behavior. It alerts you immediately if there is that change and will help guide you through what to do. But mostly, it's helping you focus on the part of the business that's going to turn revenue as quickly as possible. Something that's really worth knowing is, and this has to do with human behavior. Again, I'm an agent too, so I'm not taking shots at real estate agents, but most real estate agents, either for lack of time, loss of interest, or whatever, if they have a client, a lead, that comes into their platform, and the client, and that lead is non-responsive, they'll send 1 to 2 emails, they'll make 1 to 2 phone calls on average, and that's it. So what happens? Well, about 50% of all of the people that are going to transact will transact in the first 6 months of being on the platform. What happens to that other 50%? If the agent has moved on because their ability to focus or their ability to stay on top of things that aren't really making them any money right now has kind of gone away, well, that's a lot of lost revenue, losing half of the potential. Now, that's going to close over the next 30 months or so, but as you build your business over time, that's a massive amount of money that would be lost if something weren't keeping track of it. That's that 75% of the platform that Zap's watching for you. So Zap incubates the leads, watches what the consumer's doing, and brings it to the forefront of your attention, and will actually generate an alert to you under certain circumstances. For example, let's say you had a customer that was expressing a particular interest in a house. Maybe it's out of the blue. Maybe it's somebody that you've long given up on, forgotten about, but Zap was still watching. So you might get an alert, and along with that alert, I said, Zap will not only inform you, but it'll help you do your job. What if you get an alert that says a customer needs attention, and you're at the kids' soccer game, you're at the PTA meeting, you're at a closing? What are you going to do? Well, you can very easily send a fully populated script email out to that customer, and in a very timely fashion, professionally respond to them. We have a massive script library. It's actually extremely large. We've developed it over all that time. And I don't think the scripts sound very canned at all anymore. I think we've really gotten them to sound pretty good, not super computer generated. But what's great about it is the script library can be added to, can be modified by the brand, the brokerage, and the agent. And one of the things I tell agents all the time is take the scripts that you think you might use most often and modify them. Make them come from you. Put them in your voice, so to speak. Your customers know how you express yourself. They know how you write. They know how you talk, or they will over time. And if it sounds like you wrote it, it's going to mean a lot more to the customer than if they feel like a computer's watching them. So that script will pre-populate. It'll pop up as a suggestion. If you don't care for that script for whatever reason, if you think you have a better one out there, all you have to do is clear out that subject line and start typing a couple of keywords. It'll show you a match for every script in our library, regardless of its source, that might help you out. And it'll populate it, and all you have to do is click send. On top of that, we show you the open rates for all of the scripts, whether they're your scripts or somebody else's, and let you know what the success rate is of each individual script. So you know which ones are most likely to be effective. And as you tweak them, as you modify them, as you add new scripts or just change them to put them in your voice, you'll see what the open rates are, and you can compare it and make good value judgments about whether or not what you've changed is what you wanted to change. As a result of that, and again, if you heard Lanny this morning, the industry average for the real estate market on scripted emails, the open rate average is about 22%. So that's not bad, that's decent. But the Zap scripts average 38%, almost double the national average. And the reason for that is because we're sending very carefully crafted messages. We're sending the right message at the right time to the right person. They're much more apt to open.
Can it only be sent as email?
The scripts are, yeah, they are email. You have the ability to text customers if that's the question, but the script library is for email. We also provide a great deal broker insight. This is an area that we're working on particularly hard right now to improve it before you guys get your hands on it. Again, this software all was developed for our own internal use, and one of the things that Realogy has asked us to do, and we're very much at work on, is improving the overall brokerage piece of it. So we're going to provide you with a great deal of management oversight for the platform. You'll be able to get a quick insight into exactly where your business stands, what your agents are doing. This isn't about Big Brother. This is about running a business, coaching. It gives you such great coaching insights when you see that an agent may be struggling, you see somebody that's underperforming, you have the opportunity to give them some of your experience, some of your insight, and try and help the process along the way. This is an agent stack rank report. It tracks the trailing 12 months gross commission income and closed sides, so that at a glance a broker can see who's doing what in the brokerage. It's great for awards. It's also great to see if somebody's just having a bad time, a hard way to go. Yeah.
Can you change that time frame parameter? Maybe you're doing a listing challenge or something like that over
Yes.
the next 6 months.
Yes.
And you can change
Yes.
the time frame. Cool.
You can ask for that information over whatever time frame you want. I think it defaults to the current month, but yeah, you can change it to whatever you want. Good question. So here's an example of how Zap allows agents to market themselves and improve their presence and consequently the brokerage's presence on the web. What happens is an agent goes out and they're going to show a home. Zap is able to very quickly geolocate them, and when they start the process on their smartphone, doesn't matter if it's iOS, Apple, or Android, it's essentially the same screen. So this is a stack rank of the closest homes to that agent. And as it turns out, the agent is indeed on Orange Street. And they're going to do a showing. So what you see here is all the agent now has to do to enter in the information about the showing, and I'll tell you why it's important in a second, is enter the person that they're with. It's already pre-populated the date and time. It gives you a pop-up for the status. And then it says, market yourself. Okay, so how does that work? I effectively just scroll down, and what you're seeing there are what we call quick tags. Those tags are the 10 most frequently made comments by agents about homes, and you can simply touch them and light them up. And they provide a good eye-catching visual image to the customer when they're looking at the home detail pages on your brokerage website. So this particular agent clicked on those two comments and then also entered some custom verbiage there. Those words can be either thumb typed in, or if that's not convenient, both the iOS and the Android app have a microphone button, and it does voice recognition. So when you're showing a house, all you have to do is give the customer maybe 30 seconds alone. Go step out on the front porch. I encourage people to do it while they're there. One, it's quicker, and two, you won't forget. And three, the sooner you get the information in, the sooner it shows up on the website. As a matter of fact, it shows up instantly. If you click the send button, you could immediately log in as a customer, and you'd see your comments on the web.
So just a quick question about consumer though. This all hinges on us captivating the consumer to our website and staying there?
Absolutely. And I'll talk just a little bit more about that, but that's a good question. And if I start to not talk more about it, ask me again, because I want to connect those dots for you. But yes, it is dependent upon that. So all the agent had to do was spend a very few seconds commenting on that house. It becomes, the reason it's so important is it creates a value proposition for each individual agent. You're adding value. That brokerage website now has data that's unique. What's good about that? Well, in search engine results, search engines love unique data. They hate the same old thing. If everybody else is just pushing out basically what appears in the MLS, you will show up higher in the search results. That will create more leads, more traffic, more closings. It's the way that the search engines work. So here's an example of that comment that or those comments rather, that the agent made on a home detail page. So when the customer's looking at this, once again, they see that unique content that the agent just added. The agent is marketed to them, that you see the quick tags down there jumping out at the customer. And something that's great is there's an incredibly high click-through rate that we found. This is something else Lanny mentioned in his presentation. The click-through rate is pretty unprecedented. We have a 40% click-through rate on agent comments. Customers are, it seems like moths to a flame, are drawn to click on those on the agent comments down there to try and find out more. When they click on it, they go right to the agent website.
Question.
So I'm sorry?
This is all predicated on IDX feed. Let's say that listing is a Coal Banker lead. I'm making a comment that shows up at the bottom of the page. That comment, they click through to my website.
That comment only appears on your brokerage website, right?
On my brokerage website.
On the brokerage website. It's not like it's backfed through MLS and the whole world will see it. That's the beauty of it. It creates unique content that makes you show up higher in search results. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you're not promoting someone else's business. You don't have to say courtesy of.
So, Zap connects the entire business, the consumer, the agent, and the broker. That's kind of a recap slide. What I'd rather do with the time than go through that again, because I've already done it, is remind me what your comment was. I wanted to come back.
Basically, that they have to be captivated on our
Absolutely.
website.
Okay, so kind of what I talked about, thank you. What I talked about at the very beginning, it is imperative that we provide you with tools that are best in class. You have to have the website, the mobilely optimized website, and the application that customers will want to use. If you don't, again, the whole system will fail. We provide best of breed so that when you give that to the customer, it's something that they'll want to use. We provide incremental value, and we'll make it easy for you to provide that to the customer. You can send them a link, and presto, they're bound to you. You can send them a link, and they can download the app. As a matter of fact, a stat that I didn't say earlier was, if a customer downloads the application, and you really want them to, if a customer downloads the application that goes with the website, they are statistically 4 times more likely to transact with you. It's something of an emotional investment that customers make. If you think about it, how many apps do you really want to download on your phone? They take up space, they clutter up your screen. If they put it on their phone, it's probably because they're intending to use it. And we found that if they use both the website and the app, 4 times more likely. It's a very powerful number. Who has questions? Yes, ma'am.
So the agent comment, if we were to go on the broker opens, we could use that to put on the showing comments, and so it looks like we're very prolific, and we know our market.
Yes.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Well, and not only that, there's another screen. I'm going to invite you guys, when we're finished here, I'm going to invite you to go back down the hall to, because we're going to have enough time. Go back down the hall before your 1:30 class. Debbie has joined us. Our National Training Manager, Debbie Williams, is here to help keep me honest in the question answer.
It's tucked in the back.
I didn't even see you sneak in.
Sorry.
I warned them that you were coming. Big road.
What a big house.
So I'm going to invite you, when we're finished here, to go down and see Debbie and let her show you some of the things that we've talked about.
I have a smaller room than just
Live and in person, yeah, if you all go once, it's going to be pretty cozy. But she's doing hands-on demos, and the other reason to go down there is if you want to express interest in getting Zap earlier, sooner rather than later, the first thing you should do is talk with your business consultants about the best timing for your brokerage, when it makes sense to make the move. The earliest versions of Zap won't have full functionality in them, so it may or may not be appropriate for you. Business consultants know at every step along the way what functionality and features are going to be there, so they can help guide your decision and help you make the move at the right time. Being first in line is not necessarily what you want to do, but you do want to raise your hand and express interest so they know that you want it sooner rather than later. That's strictly up to you. I would encourage you to get on the list, and that is what, it's kind of diagonally across from where you're
Yeah, does
sitting.
everybody know where to go sign up? To at least raise your hand and say, I'm interested.
Branson.
Go down the hall, you go out the door, down the hall to the left where it says ERA brand booth. You gotta go through the doors and walk right in there. It's where you picked up your registration, but on the other side of that room. And that's where I'll be doing some live Zap demos of the agent platform.
There's an ERA Zap banner right next to where she's sitting,
Right,
so you won't have any trouble finding it. Who else? Yes, sir.
I have a question. Is this unique to ERA, or is this being offered through Call Banker and Central Carolina as well?
Okay. So, Realogy bought Zip in August of last year, and Alex Perillo, who spearheaded that whole effort, made the decision that he wanted to take a package that had previously been available from us directly, that brokerages spent thousands of dollars a month on, and make it a part of the Realogy franchise value proposition. So it is being offered to all of the Realogy franchises. It is not an ERA exclusive. You guys honestly have been probably the most aggressive adopters, but no, it is not exclusive to ERA.
Is there a price?
Yeah, there is a price. You'll be pleased to hear it. It's free. Make your checks and money orders payable. No, it's 100% free. The only thing that would ever
Part of
cost you
ERA.
anything, we're looking later this year at creating kind of an extensibility opportunity for Zap to allow brokerages to customize the way that they interact with it. So for example, if you wanted to use something like SkySlope or Dotloop or Lone Wolf or something of that nature, we're hard at work behind the scenes creating both the contractual capability and the technical capability to do exactly that. And you could reasonably expect, that with Realogy buying power, you'd be able to acquire that software for less by doing it that way. It's not a pre-announcement of any particular package, so don't remember the names that I said, but those are some pretty big names in the business. That was the next
Do
one.
agents sign up, or do the brokers sign up?
I need the brokers to go down and sign up unless you're
It's not the
authorized.
individual agent.
Pardon me?
It's not the individual agent.
No,
It's
sir.
the brokers.
It is the brokers. Some of the brokers have given the permission, I guess, to certain people within their office to speak on their behalf, and you can go down and sign up if you have that. Otherwise, yeah, it's a broker's thing. That was the next name.
To follow up that question about Realogy buying it and rolling it out, are they rolling it out to ERA first, or is all the brands hitting it at the same time?
So there are a number of showcase sites. There's one each for Century 21, ERA, and Coldwell Banker. And then there will be beta sites, and there's one each, or actually there's three that have been named that they're going to do one each for each of those three brands. Better Homes and Gardens and Sotheby's are not currently on the list, but will be. So there isn't an exclusivity, if you will, for ERA. I'm not quite sure where that got started, but that simply isn't the case.
Charlie. That's what he said from,
Yeah, they did say.
they said that yesterday in our opening session. It was Charlie Young
So
who
you're
said-
rolling out Coldwell Banker and Century 21 at the same time as ERA?
Because that's not what they told us. They
Yeah.
said it would be exclusive to us
They
at first.
said it would be, I just out of curiosity.
Charlie, our president.
Said it would be exclusive to ERA.
First.
Okay.
ERA will be the fastest.
Yeah, I
I
would
think it's
certainly
fair to
say
say, your brand is the most aggressive and will be the fastest
that
to roll
that is
out
true.
to the greatest number of ERA brokerages.
And I think Charlie and Jamie will make certain of that. But, you know, the reality is, Realogy bought this for,
It's a big package.
yeah, it is. Well, I mean, they paid $166 million for the right to be able to then turn around and give it to you all. So the value proposition of being a Realogy franchisee just went up a lot. Yes, ma'am.
is it gonna be possible to find out who the other, sister brands are in our areas so that we can combat that early on?
Yeah, I think the best answer for that is probably to talk with your business consultant, because they'll be enough in the loop that they'll have an idea of which flavors are available in which markets. Yes, sir.
So the current website platform we have now through homes.com, that'll all be changing?
Yeah.
There'll be no more?
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing with Zap is if there's a hole in the process somewhere,
Right.
you get it.
All this is tied together in a new website platform and it all works.
Yeah, and I think you'll really like, you know, that a few of the brokers have had an early look at the mock-ups of what we're planning to offer. It is customizable, and we've gotten pretty good feedback. Yes, ma'am.
When our clients are downloading the app, how do we assure they're getting our app and not the other agent's app?
Debbie?
Are they searching in the App Store Zap? Are they searching our name? Do we send them a link? You'll be able to send a link.
Yeah.
That's probably the best way, is to send them a link so they get your app.
You'll have a
And-
customized link for that and for soliciting ratings and reviews. You can set it up so
Right.
that ratings and reviews are solicited automatically at certain times during the process, but you also have a link that you can send to anybody at any time to write something about you.
And for our reviews, are we able to input the ones that already have reviews? Can we put them in, or do we have to go back and ask them all again?
Yeah, and that's a wildly unpopular thing. The reason that we do it isn't that we couldn't import them. The reason that we do it is we take a lot of pride in keeping it clean and making sure that the database of leads that we of reviews that we put out there are known reliable. We strongly encourage people to not get upset if there happens to be a black eye out there for them, because nobody believes every agent in the office is a 5-star agent. I'd rather have a 4.9 rating than a 5, because people might actually believe it.
But you will have the capability to add testimonials.
Yeah.
Like, it won't be the rating 4.9 out of 5, but statements that previous closed clients have made about you, you can post those as testimonials. Absolutely.
Okay.
Ratings and reviews are really a strong statement, as you've learned about, but the testimonials, that's your past hard work too, right? And you do want that to show up, and it will.
Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
No, you have been raising your hand. She has been.
We help you spot 'em.
Well,
You said the brokerage site, are agent sites something that comes with this?
Yeah.
Will they be able to, okay.
Yeah, the agent site will be provided to you.
So they'll have a free agent site as a spin-off of our brokerage site?
That's correct.
that's it.
Awesome,
Yeah.
that's
And customizable.
Yeah.
improvable.
I mean, not tons of customizable features, but some.
Okay, cool.
Is there a limit to the number of agent spin-offs?
I'm sorry, meaning what?
Well, you have your brokerage site, are you limited to 50, or
No.
is there a
Every
cost?
agent
of-
gets it.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no headcount limit of that sort. Well,
Is there any integration with this program at home.com,
No.
sites that agents have?
no, and a lot of folks have told me that's a good thing too. So,
Yeah.
Yes.
It's saving money.
You know that?
Realtor.com?
No, to our dot filter.
Oh,
Oh, that's the NAR.
No,
That's-
Is that the your NAR?
can we send that to this?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. If you just want to forward a domain, absolutely.
Yes, you can forward a domain, yes.
Yeah.
We've been to, send you leads from other types of accounts?
Yes.
Yes.
Directly into
Yes.
Zap
We
without-
already have an easy way for you to automatically import trillion syllables.
That's already set up.
That's
What about
already-
market leader?
and
Yeah, lead router will automatically go in right into Zap.
yeah, anything else is under discussion right now. So I wouldn't at all be surprised